Om Vasudeva Shutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagad Guru. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I salute the Lord Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva, who is the destroyer of the demons, Kamsa and Chanura, the dear darling of the mother Devaki, and the Guru of the world. I salute him. May peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are in the Bhagavatam, the holiest of one of the holiest text of Hindu religion. And people in thousands live in the life of Krishna and holding the name of Krishna. They found their peace and solace. So we have read up to chapter 4. Today we are on chapter 5 on page 17 of this book called the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, translated by Swami Tapasyananda, probably this book. And there, the 5th chapter we start today. Now, the narrator was telling that, let us go back to the history. History is that the Vyasa, the composer of this, the sage, ancient sage, the holy, the great scholar, the ever people have observed in the world, who has make their Vedas divide in their 4 Vedas from one homogeneous mixture. They are vastly talented to create Brahma Sutras and wrote Mahabharata, great treasure of Indian past history and tradition. And he was sitting on the bank of the river, holy river called Saraswati. And the Saraswati river is no more now there, but through the satellite they have traced the track of Saraswati embedded. Now it is all dried up. So he was sitting on the bank of Narmada, Vyasa, as usual, as the sadhus do, the holy men, sages do, meditating before the sunrise. But his face was not very peaceful, very joyful, as is ours. No? When you meditate, your face will be beaming with joy. No? But face becomes little dull.
We try to meditate.
Yes, dull, dull, and because it is running, either running in thousands of things, or thinking of anxieties, worries, that gets expressed to the mouth, face. Face is the index of mind. So the mind becomes cheerful, your face will be cheerful. You cannot hide that. People may make fake smile. People can understand. But genuine smile, a child's innocence. Why it is so charming? Because it's natural. There is nothing complication here. The face expresses so unique. Ramakrishna smile is so innocent. Holy Mother's face, look at that. Always serene, peaceful. So he was not that. Why not? So suddenly, that is the time, the sage Narada, who is for the good of the human society, moves around and sings the glory of the Lord Krishna, Lord Narayana's name. Narayana is equated with Krishna in this book and also in the Mahabharata. So we are now equating. For now, present day we call Narayana is Ramakrishna. No? The same Narayana again and again comes for the good of the humanity, for redemption of the human personalities. So he suddenly appeared in front of him, and seeing him, the Vyasa respectfully prostrated and said, "Wow, what a great day! You are in front of me, you came here." And then the correspondence was that he was looking at his face. He just said that you seem to be, you did such a great job, which human society will remember you forever. But see how thousands of years this have been done. People still knows this book, that book. And who is the writer of the book? Yeah, oh, Vyasa. So you are such a scholarly person, but why your face is so? So then um, this chapter starts where the narrator again, he comes into picture and says, "Atha tang sukhamashinam upasitam brihatsrava devarsi praho vittarsi vina pani samanyiva." Huh? There, Atha, the Suto said, the narrator said, when Vyasa was sitting facing the eastern side, the holy sun will be rising and he will be meeting beautiful on the bank of the river Saraswati, Mother Saraswati, and he is seated. So the sun is coming up at this blessed moment. Sukhamashinam upasitam. He saw the Brihatsrava, the great person whose name is Vyasa, being seated comfortably, the far famed, whose name has gone far away, is called the Devarsi Narada, this sage Narada, who is constantly moving about the world. How? The singing the glories of the Lord with a bina, with a single string instrument, with a smile, this Narada said, standing in front of Vyasa. He just said what he said. Narada said. See how Narada said is simple word, but because it's poetry. See, one entire stanza has been created. Narada appeared before Saraswati on the bank of, see how many words. Atatam Sukhamasinam, that who is sitting in Sukha asana, happy posture, Vyasa. Upasitam, who is trying to close and meditate. That Brihatsrava, whose Srava, glory, his name and fame, has gone all apart, that is Narada Rishi. Devarsi, that Devarsi, Rishi among the Devatas, gods, among the gods, he is a god as also Rishi. That he is called Deva Rishi. Deva means God. Rishi means seer of truth. Devarsi is such a person, he has both two characters. He is not human, he is godly, divine. At the same time, he is the Rishi, knower of truth. So Devarsi, Narada. What is it Narada does? Who constantly roams around the world in the singing the Lord's glory with his bina, one single stringed instrument, addressed Vaso with a smile. So, such long explanation, simply to say that, what? To say that Narada stood before the Vyasa. Simple one. This is the explanation. That's why this book is so big. Then, two, Parasarja Maha Narada Dinuvach. What he said, Narada now said. Narada said ki, Parasarja Mahabhaga Bhavata Kaschiratmana Paritushyati Sharira Atma Manasaye Bhava. Is yeah, Vyasa. Is your body and mind peaceful? That is the question. So it says, O son of Parasara. Parasar's son is Vyasa. Vyasa's father was Parasar. So Parasar's son. Narada is saying, O son of Parasar. He is just remembering the father of the sage also. O high souled one. You are not an ordinary Vyasa, you are not an ordinary guy. Is your good self happy in mind and body? That means bodily you are happy and mentally you are peaceful? Question. Then he continued, question continues from Narada, continues to say that for composing the Mahabharata, the great book Mahabharata, a unique and encyclopedic work dealing with the four Purusharthas, means ultimate goals of human life. Four goals we talk about: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, righteous living; Artha, earning money and wealth; Kama, fulfilling the desires of life; and fourth, liberation. These four goals. You must be considered as one of the master of Dharma. O Vyasa, you are to be considered to be you are the master in this performing this dharmic life in its practical and theoretical aspect. So you have also completely mastered the eternal Vedas. You are the knower of Vedas. Not only that, you have done such a tremendous work. Everyone can read Upanishad. Huh? Everyone can read this book. Someone can categorize it, this dividing, these are the jnana, these are the bhakti, these are the dhyana, these are the karma. Can anyone with memory? We have to read 20 times and read, oh, here is jnana. Okay, this 2.3.1, this is oh, bhakti, this is 5.3.7. You can say like that. But nothing in your brain, the entire Vedas, you have done division of the Vedas, you have created the four Vedas. So you have also completely mastered the eternal Vedas and propagated it among your disciples. Not only have done that, you created your disciples and given that wisdom of the Vedas to them. And they will give to their children and their generation after generation. That's why we are getting today. We
So
get
maybe his students also helped him to do that. Like this says that one professor in the lab, but the other.
But it is not in the lab, it is in the
No, no, I'm
mind
not
of the
saying
person,
like.
one person.
Mm,
First, how they will know? They do not know.
it's a project, so it has to be the group, the
No,
principal
no.
investigator, and with other
Understand, that
collaborators.
is only physical something. But everything in the memory and memory of one person, unless he describes those from his memory, collecting these verses from this side, that, and making them accumulated, and then taught that passage, that is the Poila. It says Poila is narrating one of the Vedas. So then he cultivates that he is happy with one Veda only. He does not know all the four Vedas. Ah, so that's why it is little different. Still, how is it that you look like one frustrated and grieving? Your face seems that you are not happy. You are frustrated, and if it seems that you are grieving for something. What is that? Vyasu said. Now the response. Na Vyasu Vacha. Asti eva me sarvamidam tayoktam. I am aware that I have all these excellent qualities you have just referred to. Still, I feel no joy or satisfaction. Really, you are correct. I don't find joy. I don't find satisfaction within. The cause of it is not very clear to me. I do not know why I am not finding joy. Sometimes we do meditation, no? You sit, meditate, pray. Mm, don't feel anything. So Basu is saying, after doing so much, people should be satisfied. No? If one gets a master's degree, I am done something. No? If you get a PhD, I have finished mine. Some satisfaction should be there. But I've done such a great job, still I do not find satisfaction. You are correct, you caught the point. The cause of it is not very clear to me. Who is saying? Vyasa. You are the son of Brahma. O Narada, Vyasa is telling Narada, Narada, you are not ordinary sage. You are the son of Brahma and you possessed of infinite knowledge. Deign to find out and tell me the cause of my sorrow. You please find out my cause of my sorrow. You know you are not an ordinary person. Brahma, who created the whole universe, he created you also. You are the born son of Brahma. That is Brahma's special creation. Brahma has, everyone can create so many things, but someone says, this is my excellent creation. No? So Brahma's excellent creation is you, Narada. Please find out why. I do not know. I am not finding out the cause why I am. Where everyone should be satisfied. I have done so big job for the humanity. And this volume of books I have written, these intricate things I have. So it's philosophical and spiritual things I have for the good of humanity, yet I am dissatisfied. So you are endowed with the knowledge of the subtlest and the most secret of all things, for you have achieved the devout and intimate communion with the Supreme Divine. O Narada, you have tuned yourself to always, you are tuned to God consciousness, always in that highest level. The controller of the whole universe, who you have tuned yourself to the Supreme Divine. Who is the Supreme Divine? The controller of the whole universe in its manifestation and dissolution. That is the God, one God, who creates this universe, who maintains this universe, who dissolves this universe. You are that. You are tuned to that. You know your eyesight is very keen and you can penetrate and see me why I am not happy. What 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 more I can do to bring my perfect satisfaction. So by you are tuned to the Supreme Divine, who is the controller of the whole universe, in its manifestation and also in its destruction, who, by an act of his will, creates, sustains, and dissolves all the worlds, and yet still he is not attached, non-attached. You then know because you are tuned to that cosmic reality. Therefore, 7 verse says, Tang parjatan arkaiva triloki mantasaryo vayurivat saksi paravare brahmani dharmato pratehi snatasya menunam amalam vichaksha. You travel all over the world over the light like the sun itself. Sun moves in the space freely. So you move all over the world freely because you are such pure soul and for the good of humanity as the light penetrates everything. So you are everywhere. You can be everywhere. That is your divine glory because you are tuned to that absolute God. You can get into the hearts of all and be the witness of all their thoughts. So that means, as Ramakrishna said, I can see at you and I can see what is the thought in you. Like one sees the plates and saucer kept in a glass case. You can see through. Though the thing is there is a glass covering, but it's a covering. You cannot touch it. But I can see, not touch. I can know what is there. Ramakrishna, that's why he was a person. He could read the mind of everyone. People are mind reading. That is one thing. They can read little bit on the superficial. But Narada, you are such an excellent spiritual personality. You can penetrate, you interpenetrate into the hearts of everything. If you want to know, you know. So you tell me, come into my heart, look at it and find out the cause. So deign to look into the state of my mind and find out what my sin of omission is. What did I do wrong? After doing so much, still why am I dissatisfied? For I have accomplished all that man can accomplish by the study and the practice of the truth revealed by the Vedas. I also tried my mate and meditated. I know the meaning of the Vedas. I have experienced the Vedas. And by the observance of the rules of virtues and austerities, I did all these things. But still, I am a failure. I do not know to find out my own cause of my distress. So please, you please, the real lover of God, tuned to the cosmic consciousness. So please help me. Narada said in reply, Narada, Sri Narada Vacha, verse number 8. So Narada, what he said in reply? Bhavatanudita prayam jaso bhagavato amalam yenai tussati manne darshanam kilam yatha dharmadayascha artha munuvarjanukirtita natatha vasudevasya mahima hi anuvarnita. You have done so many things, but you have not mentioned the glories and sweetness of the love and the beauty of God, Krishna, who came down in the earth. You have not talked about, you have talked about jnana. You may talk about karma, but you have not talked about this love for God. God, love for God, God. And love for God means love for God, the Absolute. So, Saguna Brahma, you have not talked about Saguna Brahma, mainly main thing. So Narada said in reply, verse number 8, you have not adequately, you have described in the Mahabharata, if you find Krishna's name, Krishna's glory, some places they have described, but you have not adequately described the unsullied glory of the Supreme Lord, the pure, stainless nature of the Supreme Lord who has come down as Krishna. You have not described. You have not described the devotional aspect of it. I consider as imperfect all those philosophies which fail to please the Lord because of their lack of devotional exuberance, which alone can give full satisfaction to you. So everyone who may be great Jnani, eh, if they are not drenched in devotion, then they will not be happy. That's why Ramakrishna said, the look of Jnanis will be dry. Bhakta's face, look means if you look at him, it will dry look, katkotte. That means dry wood. And Bhakta's face, you see Bhaktas, you go to Hare Krishna, see every Bhakta's face, gold girl, sweet, and they smiling all the time. No. Jnani is, hey, this is not true. That's unreal. This unreal. So he's he is Krishna. He is Krishna in it. Krishna there, Krishna there, Krishna there. So naturally he smiles a little more. Both are sadhak. He is also practicing spiritual discipline. Not this. Not this. Renunciation, detachment. Vairagya. That's his practice. But Bhakta does not do like that. Bhakta says, ah, God is here also. God is there also. God is there also. So his smile approach makes it little smile, though there is danger in both the path. Danger is in this path is that you forget God and you get attached to the object, thinking God is, you are loving God, but you are loving the person. That's the problem of Bhakti Yoga. People say, oh, Bhakti Yoga is very easy because you see, even in white, you see, oh, it is the Lord Krishna. So they pray, they sing, dance like Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna, that's such a pure love. Instead of getting that, they get entangled into worldly thoughts. And after the love goes on, then they start fighting and killing each other even. You know? So, but that is the risk. But Bhakta tries to see God everywhere. And it is God's creation. The tree, the plant, human being, everyone is God's creation. Uh, Krishna, Krishna, huh? Wherever you see, yatra yatra netra pare, where netra means eyes, fall. You see whatever. Tatra tatra, there and there itself. Krishna, the Lord, appears as it were in your mind. You don't see the material object, you see as God. It's a practice, and when you mature, then you will see. I'm not seeing, but I'm imposing first. There is Krishna, there is Ramakrishna, or there is Ma. Whatever you see, terminology is different. But that you see the presence of God is not. That's also bad. Actually, that's nothing wrong. Only approach one side emphasizing one side, one is emphasizing on the other side. So you have not expounded the greatness of Vasudeva, ninth verse, with that exhaustiveness with which you have treated the Vedic rites and the fourfold end of human life, consisting of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So you have exhaustively described in the Vedic analysis the Vedic rites, karma kanda, and the Vedic Veda has two wings. One is the ritualistic karma, another is the knowledge part. You have described those details, but you have not described the glory and beauty of Krishna, the Lord, who came down in the human body as Krishna, as Ramakrishna. You have not described their glories. That's why you are not satisfied. Your work is not complete. A little is left behind. 10th verse. Works of pure literary artistry that nowhere describes the sanctifying glory of the Lord are eschewed by the holy spiritual swans, Paramahamsas, who are ever accustomed to sport in the Manasa lake of Satchidananda alone. The Paramahamsas, who are Paramahamsas, verse number, this is we are talking about verse number 10. The Paramahamsas, the people who are like great spiritual souls who can eschew the wrong things and take the essence. Like, Hongso is called, why? That's why Hongso called this swan. Swan is called Hongsa. Paramahamsa is great swan. Ramakrishna is called Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa Ramakrishna. Why Paramahamsa? It's a great swan. What is the characteristics of the swan? If you give milk and water, he has something in his mouth. He can eschew the water and drink the milk out of it. Can we do that? You give me one glass milk and water mixed. Okay, you take. You take only the milk and throw away the water. Can you do that? No. That's why we are Purusha. We are general people. We are not Hongso. Hongso means the swan. And Ramakrishna is the great Hongso, great swan. who can eschew all material thing, but take only God. So that's called Paramahansa. The Paramahamsas who are ever expert in throwing away the unreal and accepting the truth, they only eschewed by the Holy Spirit. They don't like it. If you don't talk about God, that means you talk about the milk. Don't talk about the water. But you have talked most more of the water. Karma kanda. You do this jagna, you go to heaven. You do this way, and this jagna is to be done by this way, this way. As in our puja, you will find. You will have to take the flower this way, you will have to sprinkle water this way, you will have to move the mudra like this way, you will have to do this way. You will have to do. You cannot say, oh no, then you are not doing puja. So you have described all these things, but you have not described elaborately, more elaborately about the love for God, which is the milk of spirituality. And the Paramahamsas don't like it. Paramahamsas live in that consciousness of God. So you are missing that. And Paramahamsas in their mental lake, in their heart, they sport with that love of God. That means we meditate on God, no? God is the embodiment of love. The Paramahamsas, real Paramahamsas, they dwell in the lake of their heart with that divine only. And they get extreme joy. But you have not done that, expressed that in your literature. They discard such compositions, considering such compositions which does not talk more of the water part. Most of the material science and material world notes are what? You can find little drop of milk here and there, mostly water. You drink, but your body does not get nurture. It can plus certain things, cleans you certain way. But that's karma kanda, can clean you some way, but it does not nurture you spiritually. And Paramahamsas want to nurture, they nurture themselves in that love. They swim, the Hamsa swims where? On that lake. Where lake? Lake of your mind. The Paramahamsa's heart, this swan, and these Paramahamsas don't like to talk about much of other thing or hear about other thing, but about God. So they discard such compositions, considering them only as dirty. Huh? Dirty. This karma kanda people will be very enthusiastic. This jhana is being done, that will help to go to heaven and this and that. But the Paramahamsas don't like that. Paramahamsa wants to enjoy the bliss of God. Ramakrishna, he didn't enjoy doing much karma or niskama karma, even non-niskama karma. But the question of sakama karma. Sakama karma means karma which brings you physical, mental, emotional, intellectual joy, but no joy of the Atman. So, see, the dirty things they throw away, and puddles fit for bath of the cows and sensual worldlings. That means those people who are in the worldly mind, it is good for them. But for a pure Paramahamsa, they don't care for these things. They throw away for them. So what you have done good. For the masses, it is good. They do the karma kanda, they will go step by step, and then go to heaven, go to this desire, that desire, fulfilling those desires. Ultimately, one day, they will be like this. They will like the milk. They are not satisfied with water. They drank water enough in the material world. But you have not done anything for such things. So your own personal life is lacking this peace. So you dwell on that. In your mental lake, you meditate, you feel the presence of the Krishna all the time, the Saguna Brahma. Nirguna Brahma is in Samadhi. There is not you, not me, nothing. To enjoy bliss, you should have to Saguna Brahma meditation. Nirguna Brahma meditation is really difficult, that's why Ramakrishna said. Because for so long I have the body identity, I cannot do Nirguna Brahma. He said it becomes Saguna. Even if I think that I'm thinking of Brahman, but it is Saguna. You think that you are thinking of light, infinite light here. Okay, but it is Saguna. I am thinking of the light. But when you merge there, that is the Nirguna. But Nirguna is so difficult that it is the ni. Sa re ga ma pa da ni. Sa re ga ma pa da ni sha. You cannot stay there for long. And then you come down again. That's a musical note. So you have done all this, it's good, but the Paramahamsas don't like to dwell on these worldly things and they eschew that, they throw away that. Hmm? They want to dwell in the lake of their mind with that, with the bath. So throw away for cruise and sensual worldlings. That means they throw away for whom? For worldly people or like the crows. Crows means ordinary birds and insects like that. Those who in the human body, but their development is up to mental development is like a crow. Why crow? Crows, they say very cunning. They think very intelligent, but their behavior that's why is very aggressive. But they are fools. Now, literary compositions, which are 11 bars, literary compositions, which are characterized by the presence of the words indicating divine attributes and glory, destroy the sins and evil tendencies of people, even if there are mistakes in every one of their lines. Holy men hear the exposition of such texts and themselves expound and sing them. So, literally, compositions, when people compose something literary, which are characterized by the presence of the words indicating divine attributes, that is God's glory, divine attributes, Mahima of the Lord, and glory, those thinking of that. Suppose you don't do anything, you just read Ramakrishna's life, just you read Holy Mother's life, you read Swami Vivekananda's life, and see how they are born and their active life, what they are doing. Your mind is going in this thought, and your mind is become pure and pure and pure because they are all pure. So that is the easy path. Gyanopath is harder. Advanced students. Bhakti path is sweet path. I give the example. Gyanapath and Bhakti path are what? Both will lead to the end. Gyanapath is like rock, mountain climbing. Mountain climbing, rock climbing. How do you do? Straight in the top, a rope, and here is the bottom, and you hold the rope and go. Target is there only. Don't look there. No, no, don't say how. What a beautiful scene there. Some dancing going on. And then you lose your grip and fall down. No? So Jnana path is harder path. Not everyone is suitable for that. But Bhakti path, as I say, take a flask of coffee and some snacks and then go for hiking. And you do hike certain distance and you are already exhausted with it. Oh, let me sit down and a vista point, sit there and take your cup of coffee, sip something, enjoy the view. Huh? What a beautiful, you have little altitude, so you see the vista differently. You enjoy that. But by that time, the Jnana path has gone so far up, and bhakti is still, I am here. But this path is giving joy in the travel. While you are traveling, That's a joyful travel because you find something, mind can catch it. And here mind reject. Whatever comes, Jnana path, rope mountain, rope climbing, you have to reject everything. Your focus should be only the target, only the target. No? So these are the two. And here you are sipping a cup of coffee and having some munching things and snacks, and you can chit chat and enjoy the round about this. And then when you are done, again move on. And another 1 hour, 2 hours, you go hiking and then stop and enjoy. Eh? So it is a path of immediate saguna Brahma.
Is it, do you have your free will to choose the path or your
Hmm?
do you have your free will to choose the path or your sanskaras are the one which decide
That
the
is your
path?
choice. Your sanskara means that is your choice. You are a bundle of your sanskara and your desires come out of that. So it is your choice. But now in this life, I cannot do that because I have already some choices inside. The strong choices. They will force me to go. That's why our Vedanta is very good. Sometimes be Gani, take some rope climbing. Now you think that is better. Okay, then. Now you will become like, take a cup of coffee and see the vista. Whole day, 24 hours, you make. Whole day, target is the God and do all the practices. So that's the easiest path. Then I need not have to choose what is my special path. That's why one will be more of meditative nature. One will be more of devotional nature. You will see one is more of analytical nature. More does not mean the others are not there. So better Vedanta, Thakur Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Vivekananda, they are presented before us to take this path of more years, so that you are utilizing your whole day towards God and God only. So holy men hear the exposition of such texts and themselves expound and sing them. Holy people want to hear about the Saguna Brahma. They live in that. When you are living in the world, you live with the Saguna Brahma. That's why Ramakrishna praying to Divine Mother. Huh? Ma, don't make me unconscious. I want to enjoy the bhakti, devotion and bhakta, the devotees, bhakti and bhakta. That means I want to live in a Saguna Brahma to enjoy your bliss. No? But if I go to Samadhi, then none. Then the whole world is without any connection with the world. But they come to the world for the good of the world. So it is for the masses. So you have not done that. Understand? Now he continues. Who? This is all advice from Narada. So Sri Narada says, Bhakti is the highest. Now this book is meant for that. Bhakti is the highest. Knowledge, 12 verse says, knowledge which is characterized by purity of the heart does not shine with dazzling brilliance if it is devoid of the fervor of devotion to the Supreme Being. No? Knowledge becomes dry. You go to the intellectual talks of the intellectual people in the university or scholars when they talk about Vedanta, Brahma, and you hear from a most ordinary Swami who has not read much or a devotee who have not read much, but actually practicing something and devotionally talking. When they talk, that attracts our mind more. So he says, knowledge, when it is characterized by purity, does not shine in the life and dazzling brilliance if it is devoid of the fervor of devotion to the Supreme Being. Your love for Supreme, love factor should be there, not intellectual. Intellectual is one thing, heart is another thing. So, what then to speak of mere karma with, with motives or even without motive? Karma can be done with motive. That's called sakama karma. Karma can be done without motive, niskama karma. Even That, with minus devotion, it has no meaning. It does not take you to close to God. If the same, the karma, so he's talking about what then to you did. It is the brilliance, your brain is very fertile, a dazzling knowledge will, without devotion, does not make any impact. And then what to speak about karma? Karma with sakama, with desire, motivation, or without motivation. If the same is not dedicated to the Lord Krishna, the Lord. Huh? So he is not saying Krishna or anything. I am using the word Hare Krishna. People will say everywhere Krishna, Krishna. That's why I am saying in between Ramakrishna. Main thing is that it is the God. That's why they are saying Lord, 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 Lord. In Sanskrit also, they say Lord. 12. Achyutam, Achyuta Bhava Varjitam. He is not saying Ramakrishna. But the devotees have made that Achyuta means Krishna. Therefore, if they say Achyuta, Achyuta means who has no fall, who remains in his divine glory. So, whose heart is not in that truth, then that is not useful. Therefore, O high souled ones, who is high souled ones? Vyasa. Narada saying, O high souled one, you who are endowed with unerring insight, famed for your holiness, ever devoted to truth, and established in the sacred vows, do, through samadhi, concentrated absorption, recall the memories of those wonderful deeds of the sportive Lord and expound the same for the salvation of mankind. You know Sri Krishna, the Lord who incarnated in the human body. So you know that you have the insight which is not having no error in your insight. You see the right thing. You are famed for your holiness. You are holy. Everyone knows Vyasa is so pure, holy. You are devoted to truth. Everyone knows Vyasa is greatly and wholly devoted to truth and truth alone. And established in the sacred vows. You are all. So what you do through samadhi or concentrated absorption. Now you sit and concentrated absorption, recall, bring from your mind, remember the memories of those wonderful deeds of the sportive Lord. When Bhagavan came down in a human body, he sported, he joyfully played here, and expound the same and then write it, expound it, explain it to the whole world, human beings, so that they will be benefited. So you first, you have those treasure in your heart. You know the sportive play of Bhagavan, the Lord. So you know that, so you feel that way, and you contemplate on that and make it real and then write it so that it will be helpful for the. So that's why we are reading today this book. Had he not written that, we would not got it. No? 14 verse. If this is not done, if you don't do this, man with his eyes, speech, and other senses occupied entirely with the unspiritual concerns. The people in the world, who as we are, always concerned about material loss. What has happened today? What is the newspaper is saying? What serious thing going on in the neighborhood? Who has told something in my personal life? Who have criticized me? Who is good? Who is bad? This influenced by this environment. So those people like us, occupied entirely with unspiritual, without unspiritual concerns, not spiritual concern. We are not concerned about spiritual life, but we are more concerned about our social surroundings, what good, bad going on. So in this, we'll fall into extremely dangerous situation created by the attraction of those sense objects, and will, like a boat caught in a storm, be tossed about this way and that without any firm anchorage to steady it. That means it will be a whole society will not get any guidance how to mm, make their boat in the ocean of world to guide the boat in the right direction to cross the ocean. So you please do something. So what is the instruction of Narada we get in verse number 11, 12 and 13? And this is the 14 we read. That, oh Narada, Narada said, oh Vyasa, you have done so many scholarly things, but you have not done sportive, written about the sportive nature of the God, Lord, which will make the mind pure. Huh? It is more than jnana, karma, everything is there without love. These are all meaningless, no? So you do contemplate on the God, Lord, and feel about his divine sports and then write it down so that the posterity, the living people in the world whose attention is only sensual objects, whose attention is only in the material plane, they will be benefited by reading that. Their mind will be purified gradually, and that will be your satisfaction then. You did something. As Swami Vivekananda said, no, you cannot do many things, but just do something for anyone. If someone is just you can give a little smile, be a cause of little smile for anyone, you think that your life is satisfied, your life, fulfillment of your life. And do feel something for the good of others. 15th verse. It has indeed been great transgression on your part to have declared the desire motivated ritualistic rites of the Vedas as dharma to the materially minded and the sense bound man. Well, it is indeed a great transgression. That means you have really not told the right path for the lower, for the people of lower quality. You have engaged them for doing Vedic karma, ritualistic worship, for going to heaven, for money, for wealth, for fame, for power. All the jognas mentioned in the Vedic time, the first portion, you have described those. It was hidden, but you brought out all those things and given to the society. But that is materially minded and sense bounded man. For established on the strength of your declaration in the faith that Vedic ritualism is dharma, they will not heed to their deprecation in other shastras or even in your own works. Therefore, only rare souls who have attained to the highest purity of being among the general people whose mind has become very pure, they only will be can take the life of absolute renunciation. You talked about Vedanta, highest renunciation. No, only either these people will be sense bound, and those who can catch the highest purpose of life, as in the Upanishads and things you have mentioned. You have brought out that in the public. It was hidden. You brought out for the public. But that life of absolute renunciation prescribed by the Upanishads and realize the supernal bliss of the infinite. Huh? It is only few souls can do that. Huh? Few highly developed souls can do that. Therefore, reveal for the benefit of the common man. Millions of people in the world they live. Think about them. For their uplift, you have given karma kanda. People cannot do karma kanda day and night. And that will take them to the more worldliness. Therefore, we sub this for the belief benefit of the common people who is subject to the gunas of Prakriti and thereby has forgotten his higher nature, the spiritual activities of the Supreme Being through his cosmic manifestation. Therefore, you be describe the glories of God so that people can think of the glories and their mind will be attracted to the divine play, divine stories of the Lord, and then that will purify their heart and that will help them to go to the path of understanding of the Vedantic oneness everywhere. A man who has abandoned his swadharma, swadharma means his own pursuit, for pursuing the path of devotion to Hari, even if he fails to attain perfection in the path immediately, does not sustain any fall. As I said, you move in a bhakti path, you cannot reach the target immediately. It will take longer time. But every step you are doing, you are moving higher and higher and higher point. Therefore, does not sustain any fall. They don't fall. Bhakti path is such, if you really genuinely practice it every day, swadu, swadu, pade, pade, they say in every step there is sweetness and joy. For he evolves still higher, even after a temporary pause. Bhakta may not make such good progress. Even they stop somewhere. As I said, we are sitting in the vista and you're spending some time, maybe half an hour is gone. You could have walked half an hour, you could have gone to another flight, but you enjoyed that. Though it is a pause, but that pause is not taking you downgrade, it is taking you upward. Nothing inauspicious befalls him anywhere, anytime, but pray what spiritual exaltation has been attained by people who merely follow the rules of sadharma untouched by devotion. Hmm? So, but pray what spiritual exaltation has been attained. Look at that. That that spiritual attainment has been done by people who follow the rules of sadharma duty untouched by devotion. There is no bhakti in the heart, but they are following their dharma. No? Good people in the society, but no love for God. So that is to be avoided. Therefore, 18 verse says, the truly wise man should therefore strive for what is not achievable in this transmigratory cycle which carries one from world to world. For fast moving time naturally brings about enjoyments of sense objects as also sufferings in different lives without anyone's effort for the same. No? Well, say the truly wise man should therefore strive for what is not achievable in this transmigratory cycle. In this life, ordinary people cannot reach the highest, but they can do this bhakti path and they make a progress. And that's why Bhagavad Gita says, when you end in this life, you start from there in the next life. So he says, which carries one from world to world. One lifetime we did this, another lifetime we come back to the world again. For fast moving time, naturally bring about enjoyments of sense objects. In the life, people are satisfied with the sense enjoyments. But for them, this bhakti path will be helping him without any further effort in the same way. As much as he has done, his beginning starts over there, and then he goes on another, he stays there, and then move on. Oh dear one, a person devoted to the Lord is never caught up in the repetitive process of samsara. If one has developed love for God, a, a perfect person devoted to the Lord, who has love, bhakti, a path of bhakti, never caught up in the repetitive process of samsara, coming again and coming again and going again. Like one devoted to the Vedic rites and desire prompted activities. Like Vedic activities you do, that will only bring worldliness, purification of the heart, it will take longer time, but devotion makes it quicker. For wherever comes, for whoever comes to be attracted by the Lord, and the Lord is all bliss, is constantly attached to Him, the Lord, by the joyous memory of His service, and never feels inclined to leave the same, lured by the worldly enjoyment. So they will never be attracted. If you get the joy of God, then you will not be attracted to the joy of the world. Because joy of the world has its negative aspect. Joy for God has its positive aspect. So develop this bhakti. You should help Obasa. You should write something, and the people will read them, meditate on them, and they will make them joyful. The Lord, who is both the material and efficient cause of this universe, is sustaining its sustenance and dissolution. The Lord, you always know, God is the creator, sustainer, and destroyer. So the Lord, who is both the material and instrumental, God, is bringing Vedanta. He is the matter, the wood. He is the wood. He is the carpenter. He is the table. That's Vedanta. Everything is Brahman. So, the Lord, who is both the material and efficient cause of the universe, and its sustenance and dissolution, cause of sustenance, cause of dissolution, may be considered as this universe itself from the causal point of view. That means God is the cause of this whole universe, and God has become everything. For the effect is not different from the cause, which subsists in and through the changing effect. But yet the Lord is distinct from it in another sense. For through all the cosmic process, He being the Spirit continues to be the same, unaffected by the transformations of the universe, unlike causal substances of material nature. And besides, they subsist independent of the effective universe as the cause remains, even if the whole of this effect universe is sublated. All these are truths well known to you. I have spoken briefly about them only to draw your attention towards them. So he said, Oh, Vyasa, you are not an ordinary person. I am telling you all this Vedantic knowledge, but you know everything. Just I am trying to remind you. Knowing all this way, you just focus your mind and attention to the devotional practices. So, O sage of true insight, O Vyaso, O sage of true insight, know your immortal self to be a part of that supreme being. No, you are a part of that. It's called the qualified non-dualism. Born in this world for the good of mankind. So you are born, you are not ordinary man, you are born to do good to the world. You remember that. So, for the spiritual edification of men, describe at length, go on describing at length what? The story of all the great divine incarnations. Not one incarnation. God comes down again and again and again, incarnates. So you, in your text, describe all the incarnations, including yourself. The great men have established that supreme, imperishable consummation of all spiritual disciplines, be it austerities, be it spiritual study, it's sacrifices, japa, gifts, or discrimination, consist in the development of the keen interest in contemplation and exposition of the glories and attributes of the most exalted being. So you do one thing. Great people who are established, who are men, have established what they have established, that Brahman, supreme, imperishable consumption of all spiritual disciplines, like austerities, scriptural study, sacrifice, doing japa, and all this consist in the development of the keen interest. What is the purpose of all this japa, meditation, austerity, fasting? Our purpose is to create a keen interest in contemplation and exposition of the glories of God. Huh? All this purpose of japa, meditation, prayer, austerity, or study is to develop love for God. So you do express, oh Baso, you know everything. Still, I am telling you, please do express yourself in this way, the Lord's glories, so that the whole masses can get benefit of that. And as soon as they think of God, Saguna Brahma, their mind will be filled with love, affection, and there's as much as they think, so much will be their spiritual. Okay? Now we end here. This is verse number 22. So we'll start next time, verse 23, chapter 5.
Three questions.
Huh? Question again.
Three.
Oh, answer. Now. So we end it. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Something is wrong or what? No one is here. Nobody. And does devotion work at Monomaya or Vijnanamaya or at other kosas? Devotion is in the Monomaya kosa, in the mental plane mostly. It is mind has the emotions, buddhi has the intellect. That means that is the discriminative faculty. That's why we should mind. Though American sense, mind is here, but in Indian sense, we always say mind is here. The mind is the part which is emotion, love, affection. So it is the Manomaya portion. With the wonderful teaching, balancing knowledge with devotion, impersonal, personal Brahman. Comment on Advaita Bhakti and seeing Lord, Mother in all that is perceived. And that is the Bhakti will come, Advaita Bhakti. Advaita Bhakti means it is they are seeing the one at the same time in many costumes. And that's the big Jnana state. They say it is all Mother or it is all Krishna. It is all Ramakrishna. At the same time, there is individual personality. As Ramakrishna used to see. Everyone, Mother, Mother, Mother. At the same time, Noren is Noren, Rakal is Rakal. So they can keep this. Like you look at it is gold made ornament, meaning you see the gold also as also ornament also. Gold and ornament, the design of the ornament to see together. It happens after attaining the highest knowledge. How do Gyanis and Bhaktas deal with past samskaras? The Gyanis deal with the past samskaras by saying, I'm not this, not this, not this. If I am not that, I am not the body. So where is the karma? Karma is done by the body. If I am not the body, body is not there. The karma is remains where? My head is not there. Where will be headache? Similarly, if I am not the body, then in Vedantic way, there cannot be any karma. So in that way, Vedanta can get out of the past karma. And Bhakta does not look at the karma. He says it is a divine sport. I'm happy to be here and I'm enjoying the spirit of God everywhere. No, by that way they're forgetting their past karma. Past karma cannot push any impact because they're trying to see God everywhere or worshipping God and they praying to God. So filling their heart with God consciousness. Saguna Brahma. So that will destroy their samskaras. So anyway, think of God, Brahman, the absolute, or think of this is Maya, get out, get out, get out. Whatever you do, purification of the mind means mind will not go to the vagaries of the last older thoughts. That will go away if you give more of God awareness by bhakti or if you do by analysis, then both will lead the same result. So we have to practice. Whatever path we choose, we can get great benefit if we can practice. Okay?
7:30.
7:30 will be our class today, but next Tuesday 4:30 class, and week after that also, both the classes probably cancelled. 4:30 class. So we'll meet you after 3 weeks in this class. Next class and next class is cancelled. And you can watch in our calendar, which has been posted both in the website as also in the weekly
Google Calendar.
Google Calendar. Okay. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. See you at 7:30 on Santi Gita. There is nobody here.